What's going on, everybody? This is Jay from Maji and Jay. Today the purpose of this video is to review the Lambo L600S that I got from the website gearbest.com. And for those of you who saw my unboxing of this baby, I mentioned that I got the free shipping method and it took about a month and a half to arrive. So I would definitely recommend for you guys to get the DHL if you're ordering here from the USA. That way you guys are going to get it within 5 to 7 days or a week. What we got here is a very nice and solid device. It's only $149 and it has a partial metal frame. You can see here that from the sides, at least from here to here, is going to be all made of aluminum. On the back we had the aluminum backing here. Then we can see down the left side we also have a partial metal frame. Unfortunately on the top it's going to be made of plastic. We also got here the 3.5mm headphone jack together with the charging / data port. We can see here we got the 13 megapixel sensor camera with the LED flash, and this is simulating to have a fingerprint scanner, but that's going to be fake. On the bottom we had the Lambo logo together with the loudspeaker and the main microphone. And again guys, we can see that this part here is obviously made of plastic. Then on the right side we find the volume rockers up and down together with the power button. On the left side it's going to be absolutely plain. We don't have any buttons whatsoever. On the front of this phone we can notice that we have a 5-inch. It is a 5-point multi-touch screen and it has a resolution of 1280 by 720 pixels. Now here we can notice guys that when the screen is off we don't have any bezels whatsoever, or at least appears to be, but when we turn on the display we actually have some black bezels around the device, and they actually are quite thick. I really wish that this was a bezel-less display because it would have made this device absolutely gorgeous. On the top we got the ear speaker together with the proximity and light sensor and a 5 megapixel sensor camera, so we can notice right there. On the bottom we got the menu key, the home key, and also the back key. Now here the back cover, it's extremely hard to open it and it can get dented easily. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I already dented it on the corner and also on the opposite corner here. So you guys have to be extremely careful when opening this device on the back. That's something that I didn't like about the aluminum backing here, but at least it feels nice and solid. Here we can see inside we're going to have a 2500 power milliamp battery, and this is a dual SIM dual standby device and supports TF cards up to 64 gigabytes. This phone also supports LTE in certain countries. Here we have the band, so you guys have to make sure that your country is supporting it. Otherwise you're going to get 3G. At least here in the USA I get 3G with at&t and T-Mobile. Now here we're going to install the battery. Right now I have it connected with Kitkat, and again it does work here with T-Mobile in the USA and also known as Simple Mobile. So let's go ahead and install the cover here. Let's go ahead and power on the device. We do have that Lambo logo. It sounds very similar to Lenovo, I would say, but this is not the Lenovo company. I'm pretty sure that they maybe try to imitate the brand, sometimes to deceive customers into thinking that this is a Lenovo device. As we can notice already guys, the speaker on the back, I think I don't have to say this, is super loud, as you guys heard right now. So that's a plus for this phone, and it's running right now the MTK6732. Now I wish that the specifications on this device, according to the body, made of aluminum, I wish that they could have made it maybe with the MTK6752 and with at least 2 gigabytes of RAM. Here from the lock screen we can notice we have two options. We can go directly into the dialer on your selected device. We don't have many options this time. And we also got there the time, we have the date, and then on the bottom here says the provider, which is Kitkat, as I mentioned earlier. So let's go ahead and unlock the device, and here we're going to find the operating system. Is very simplistic and very snappy at the same time. I think this is a theme created by Lambo themselves. Now to be honest with you guys, the colors, the saturation is quite poor on this display, even though the viewing angles are very nice, as we can tell right there. Right now I can tell guys that the colors are not super vivid, and also when watching videos I did the test myself and it wasn't that great. And now here we also notice guys that I have of course downloaded some applications and games, and some of them are for testing and whatnot. The first one I got here is called Antutu Tester, and this one is going to tell us if this is a 5-point multi-touch screen. And as of right now, as we can see guys, yes, it is a 5-point multi-touch screen. And here the menu key, the home key, and the back key, they do light up. However, this is mostly for nighttime. In the daylight time you're not going to be able to see the light, but at least we can still see the soft touch keys, as we can notice right here. So I didn't have any issues locating them in the daylight time. And now here we're going to check the score that we got from the Antutu test benchmark. It was about 31,185, as we can notice right there. So the score definitely shows that this is the MTK6732. Now here on devices information, we're going to find everything that we have on this device, including the brand, the model. We can see that this is the Android 4.4.4 Kitkat. We also got there the processor, the GPUs, the Mali-T760. Now I can tell you right now guys that the camera has been interpolated to be a 60 megapixel camera, but that's not going to be the case. This phone is only a 13 megapixel sensor. So that was a little bit, I would say, deceiving right there. A lot of people might think that you have a better camera than what you actually are getting. Also, the front facing camera is not going to be an 8 megapixel as it is claimed to be here. It's going to be a 5 megapixel sensor. So here we're going to scroll down so that way we can check the remaining of the information, including the sensors that we have supported on this device, which is great. And then here we're going to scroll down so that way we can see all the toggles that we have supported. We can see that we have everything that we normally carry. Now this device also has the HotKnot capability, in which is very similar to NFC. All you have to do is just pair with another device that supports HotKnot face to face or screen to screen, if you want to call it that way. And that's how you're going to transfer your content instead of being back to back with the NFC. And now here I also want to show you guys other settings that we have available on this device, which is very cool. And one of them is called Direct. With Direct, you guys can enable certain features like gesture unlock, which allows you to unlock the device without touching the screen, and it uses the proximity sensor on the top. So let's say here I put it on sleep mode, and let's say right now I have it only at the lock screen and I don't want to touch the screen. All I have to do is just wave on the top, and as you guys can see, it did unlock the device. So that's very cool. This is very similar to gesture wake, and we have seen this many times before. So again, this is not an invention from this company. It's just a feature that they decided to name it a little bit different. Here we're also going to see all the languages that we have supported on the top. And then here we can see guys that we have quite a few. And this is very important, especially if you guys are buying this other than the USA or a different country. You guys can determine if this is going to work for you or not. And as we can see guys, we have many languages supported. This is very nice. Now, as I mentioned earlier guys, the only flaws that I had noticed about this device is that first of all, we only have 1 gigabyte of RAM. Second, we have 8 gigabytes of internal ROM, and the back quality here of this metal, it is not the best. And the reason I say that is because it feels nice and solid, but then on the edges here, we can see how it is bending, as I mentioned earlier. And as a matter of fact, I can push it in and it doesn't go all the way in. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it doesn't feel like it's high quality when you see that. Also here from the side, we can notice it. That right now is popping out a little bit. That was something that I didn't like. And then third, I have one more complaint about this phone. It's going to be the camera. Even though it has been interpolated to be 16, it's in fact 13, but I don't feel like the sensor is working that great. And we're going to see that in just a moment, especially with the front facing camera. But for now, before we test it, we're going to go into about device. And here we're going to notice that this is carrying the Android Kitkat 4.4.4, and again it has been confirmed to be real, and this is scheduled to receive the OTA for Lollipop, which is very cool. This phone supports OTA of course, and here we're going to see that right now it is currently up to date. I did check it and I received only one update so far, and here we can see that right now it's up to date. Let's go ahead and check it one more time. Your system is currently up to date, so yes, everything is good to go. Now the next thing, as I mentioned earlier, that we're going to do is go ahead and test the camera. On the back we have a 13 megapixel sensor, on the front it's a 5. Check the next footage and let me know what you guys think. And now we're testing the 13 megapixel sensor of the Lambo L600S, and the quality guys is not that great. I mean, it's going to do its job. The optical image stabilization is not there, so it's going to look jumpy. The focus is not great unless you really tap on the screen several times. Let me try to give you guys here a sample. Right now I had to tap on it several times to get that perfect focus. Other than that, it's working well, and it's going to be great for pictures as well. And now let's test the front facing camera. And now here we got the 5 megapixel sensor camera of the Lambo L600S. And as we can tell guys, the quality compared to other Chinese devices that I've seen before is not the worst. The colors appear to be realistic. The focus is not that great, but the picture quality on this phone is going to do better than anything else. And I think that for $149, it's doing great. And now that we saw the camera test on this device, there we can notice guys that the quality is not super sharp. And if you go here into settings, we scroll all the way to the bottom, we can notice that right now it's at 13 megapixels and it has been interpolated to be 16, but again that's not real, that's going to be fake. Also, if you go into the front facing camera on the other hand, we scroll all the way to the bottom here, we can see that right now it's at 5 megapixels, but it has been interpolated to be 8. Again guys, that's going to be totally fake. This is not going to have an 8 megapixel sensor camera on the front. It's not even near. I think that the quality was actually quite poor from what I saw. And you know, all in all, you're only paying $149 at the end of the day, so maybe that's one of the reasons as to this phone doesn't have a lot of strong specifications, only 1 GB of RAM, because they invested most of their time trying to build a high quality device, very solid and made of aluminum. Then here we're going to go ahead and test the GPS, and the GPS on this device is working perfectly well. It locks us in very fast, so make sure you guys check the next footage and let me know what you think. What's going on, everybody? This is Jay, and here we are testing the Lambo L600S GPS. And as we can see, guys, it's working perfectly well. We don't need to root it or customize it in order to get it working. It comes like this right out of the box. However, we do need internet connectivity in order for it to work a lot fluent. Other than that, it is excellent. And now let's test it from inside of the house. And now that we saw the GPS test on the road, here we have the GPS from inside of the house, and right now it is locking the signal quite well. It does take about, I would say, 30 to 40 seconds to lock it, but it is working. And again, guys, this is from inside of the house. It's reading 12 satellites and it has 7 in use, so that's very cool. Everything is working like a charm when it comes to the GPS. And now with that being said, the next thing we're going to do with this device is go ahead and play with some applications and games that I have downloaded into the system, so that way you guys can check the performance and also some of the features of this phone. Make sure you guys enjoy it. have it for the performance of this device, and I was a little bit disappointed to see that this phone is not going to do very well with the gaming. I really don't know exactly what's causing it. Maybe it's that we're only paying $149 for this particular model. The phone does lag, especially when playing heavy gaming like Riptide GP2 and also Sonic Dash. So I just want to make sure that you guys have that in mind. This is going to be a phone just to use it mostly for talking, texting, and maybe surfing the web as well. This is not going to be a heavy gaming device. I want to recommend it, and also the back is heating up a little bit. I guess one right here is going to be for basic usage, and again for the price I think still a great buy. The next thing we're going to do here is go ahead and connect to my Bluetooth speaker as I always do. We're going to test the Bluetooth on this phone. So right now we have turned it on. Let's put it on Perry mode, and there we have it. Let's go here into settings like we always do. Let's go into the Bluetooth, and right now it appears to be searching, and let's go ahead and check it out. It's not very responsive. I would say it has a second of delay. And now let's check here the speaker quality on the back. I have no complaints whatsoever when it comes to the back speaker. It's very loud. And there we heard the sound test, and we can conclude, guys, that the back speaker here is super loud and clear at the same time. It's not going to blow your ear off, but at least it's going to be loud enough for you guys to hear it anywhere around the house. And then here we have my little weight scale. Let's go ahead and place it on top. Remember that this time we have aluminum. So this phone is actually, let me see, I have it in ounces right now. Let's change the units here. This phone is going to be 171 grams, so there we can notice, guys, that yes, it is a quite heavy device. It doesn't feel uncomfortable in your hands. It's actually very comfortable. As we can notice right here, I can reach the entire screen without having to sacrifice the way I hold it. Sometimes a lot of people have to hold it with the tip of their finger, so that way they can reach the thumb across the screen. But in this particular model, you guys can actually grab it nicely and still reach the entire screen with just one thumb. And as always, I have average hands. My hands are not very big. Guys, this is going to feel very nice in your hands, and overall it's going to be a great experience when texting and whatnot, and also surfing the web, which is the next thing we're going to do here. This time on the bottom we can see that we don't have the browser logo. It just says Landvo. When we open it, this is going to be our browser, and here we have the website GearBest already open. Let's go ahead and reload the same page, so that way you guys can see that on Wi-Fi, which I'm connected right now, and the Wi-Fi is working perfectly well. It's going to be very fast. Let's go ahead and load here another web page. Let's say eBay. Let's try ebay.com here, and the keyboard is a little bit tricky, guys. It's not very sensitive. There we go, ebay.com. And yes, on Wi-Fi, of course, it's going to be fast. Now let's go ahead and take it out of the Wi-Fi. This is going to support 3G with AT&T and T-Mobile here in the USA. Right now I'm connected with a company that uses AT&T networks. So let's go ahead and open this time YouTube, which is a heavier website. Let's see if I can actually type that correctly here. Again, guys, the keyboard is not going to be your favorite. Maybe you guys can download a different one that is a little bit more sensitive than this one here, because I'm doing a lot of mistypes. There you go. And on 3G, guys, is working almost as if it was 4G LTE. Let's go ahead and open here another one. Let's say dhgate.com. That was a little bit faster this time. And there we go, dhgate.com. And again, guys, on 3G is working perfectly well. It's very fast and snappy. So that's definitely some great news about this phone. And here we're also going to perform a phone call test, so that way we can at least check the loudspeaker on how it sounds when you're making phone calls. So let's go ahead and dial 611. Let's place it on loudspeaker.
Wireless. Let's get started. Press 1 for English. Marca 2 para español.
Here we're going to try to test the ear speaker. The ear speaker quality is not so great. When speaking outside with the wind noise, you guys are going to have a little bit of a hard time listening to people. I did encounter that issue, but all in all, it's working. Well guys, I think I have concluded the review video of this device, and I can tell guys that again, if you're looking for a phone that performs well and you don't want to pay a lot, then this might not be the best option for you. It's a very nice looking phone. It has very nice build quality. It has overall, I would say, nice design. I think it looks great, but sometimes, you know, looking great is not everything, and this phone does lack a lot of specifications or higher specifications like the RAM, the ROM, and also the processing power on this particular model doesn't seem to be great. The gaming is very poor. Maybe we're running some sort of bugs on the operating system, and in the future we're going to get an update to fix all of that. But I wasn't very satisfied with this phone, but it's still a very nice cheap device. If you guys want to go that route and you're going to use this mostly for talking, texting, and surfing the web, then yes, this is a phone for you. Also supports 4G LTE, so that's another plus for this phone. And the camera is okay, at least the back camera, I would say it does well. The front facing camera is going to do not too well. It's going to be a little bit blurry, but it does its job for the most part. And again guys, if you do have any questions, please don't forget to comment down below. Please like the video, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys on my next one.